Słuchasz podcastu Angielski z Konradem. Nowe odcinki każdego tygodnia. Jeśli chcesz popracować nad płynnością, nabrać odwagi do konwersacji, skorygować często popełniane błędy bądź poznać skuteczne metody nauki, ta audycja jest dla Ciebie. Remember, you're not at school, so chill out, kick back and enjoy yourself. Let's begin. Witaj w kolejnym odcinku. Zanim zaczniemy, pozwól, że pokrótce przypomnę, jak możesz wykorzystać mój podcast. Jeżeli czujesz się pewnie ze swoim angielskim, wystarczy, że przesłuchasz audycji. Dla tych z Was, którzy potrzebują odrobiny pomocy, pamiętajcie o notatkach do odcinka. Zatrzymuj podcast, przejrzyj notatki, w razie potrzeby powtórz nagranie. Zapisz się do newslettera za pośrednictwem strony angielskiskonradem.pl, by otrzymać natychmiastowy dostęp do notatek z tego i wszystkich poprzednich odcinków. Dostaniesz również powiadomienia o nowych odcinkach. Jeżeli masz pytania, uwagi bądź sugestie, skontaktuj się ze mną za pośrednictwem adresu angielskiskonradem@gmail.com bądź za pośrednictwem fanpage'a Angielski z Konradem na Facebooku. Switching to English. Greetings! Welcome to another episode of Angielski z Konradem. I'm Konrad, your one-man army. I hope you love the show today. Let's begin with some vocabulary. Pronunciation. Pronunciation. Wymowa. Courage. Courage. Odwaga. Citizenship. Citizenship. Obywatelstwo. Bodybuilder. Bodybuilder. Kulturysta. Struggle. Struggle. Zmagać się z czymś. Ridicule. Ridicule. Wyśmiewać kogoś. Make fun of somebody. Make fun of somebody. Wyśmiewać kogoś. Be ashamed of something. Be ashamed of something. Wstydzić się czegoś. Today we're going to talk about accent, namely your manner of speaking, how you speak. Don't confuse it with pronunciation, that's a whole different thing. When it comes to accent, English has many flavors. British, American, Australian, Scottish to name a few. In Poland, learners attempt to acquire so-called BBC English. We are taught to speak like reporters on BBC. Many learners get discouraged to speak English because they don't like their accent. They speak with an Eastern European accent, which in their minds very often sounds dumb. They think they sound stupid because they don't speak like natives. They don't sound like natives. They don't sound like English news reporters. They don't sound like English actors. Therefore, they think they don't speak English well. And then they give up. They don't like the sound of their voice, they don't like their accent because they don't sound like Benedict Cumberbatch or Daniel Radcliffe when they are speaking English. What they don't realize is that they all got it backwards. The accent is the least significant part of learning a language. I would even go as far as to say that it's completely optional. Unless you want to be a spy or something like that. Today's episode is about an icon of cinema which didn't get discouraged by naysayers, even though many people didn't give him any chance for a successful career because of his strange accent. Ladies and gentlemen, Arnold Schwarzenegger. As you may know, Arnold Schwarzenegger is not a native speaker of English. He was born in Thal in Austria. That makes him a native speaker of German. Even though he came from a small town, he had big dreams. He wanted to be a somebody. He wanted to prove every person who told him that he would fail wrong. Schwarzenegger didn't have what one could call a happy childhood. His family was poor, his father engaged in child abuse. At the age of 14, he chose to become a bodybuilder. When he turned 19, he left Austria to pursue his dreams. 2 years later, he found himself in the United States. At the beginning of his acting career, he didn't get many gigs. Apart from the documentary Pumping Iron and a supporting role in Stay Hungry, he wasn't well known in Hollywood. Agents told him that he was, quote-unquote, too weird for mainstream cinema. Everywhere he turned, he was told that he had no chance of becoming successful in the entertainment industry. Due to his foreign accent, he was dubbed over. His voice was replaced by a voice of a different, native-speaking actor, some uncredited Joe Average. Listen to this part from Hercules in New York.
Like it down there.
Let me be the judge of that. I am tired of the same old faces, the same old things.
As you can tell, that was the original, the only Arnold Schwarzenegger. You can easily tell that it's Arnold because his voice is very distinct. Now listen to the dub over.
Like it down there.
Let me be the judge of that. I'm tired of the same old faces, the same old things.
That was the beginning of the 70s. Back then, the most popular male actors were Burt Reynolds, Charles Bronson, Steve McQueen, Robert Redford, Clint Eastwood, great actors by their own right. They sure were athletic, but they were lean, they were slim, they sounded very familiar for an American viewer. It would appear that there is no place for a muscular bodybuilder with a strange, thick German accent on Hollywood Walk of Fame. Despite the naysayers, Arnold did not give up. He worked on his acting skills, he worked very hard, he worked on his English, but he decided to leave his accent as is. In the meantime, he was killing it on the bodybuilding scene, netting 7 Mr. Olympia titles. An opportunity came to play the leading role in a sword and sorcery epic Conan the Barbarian. It would appear Arnold was made to play an ancient warrior. His accent became his strength. It didn't sound out of place in a fantasy setting. The film became a big hit, even though Arnie got a Razzie Award for the worst performance. It wouldn't be the first time, it wouldn't be the last. He got recognition, it was all that mattered. He caught the eye of a young director who was about to shoot his first feature film. His name was James Cameron. The title of the film, The Terminator. After that, the rest is history. What was considered by the film studio to be a B-class science fiction slasher flick, shot on a modest budget of $4 million, became an overnight success and grossed 20 times more than what it had cost. Suddenly, every studio wanted a piece of Arnold. They no longer minded his thick foreign accent, his muscular build, his last name. Mind that at the beginning of his acting career, he had to use a stage name, Arnold Strong. The name Schwarzenegger became synonymous with big money in Hollywood. What followed was several straight years of blockbusters. Commando, Predator, The Running Man, Total Recall, to name a few. Arnold became the person who called the shots. Your accent is the final thing you should work on when learning English. Once you've got a sufficiently vast vocabulary, you know the proper pronunciation of words, you know grammar well because you have read a lot in English. You have watched a lot of films in English, not because you've studied grammar. Don't study grammar. You speak fluently with minimal effort. Only then should you work on your accent, if you so desire. Most of all, get used to your voice in English. Record yourself speaking, then listen to yourself speaking a foreign language. Forget about Benedict Cumberbatch and Daniel Radcliffe. Grow fond of your own English voice just the way it is. Well, that's it for this episode. Don't worry, I'll be back. Thank you for listening. In case you have forgotten, here's the revision of vocabulary for this episode with some example sentences. Additionally, you will find the translations in your notes. You will hear each sentence twice. Let's begin. Pronunciation. Pronunciation. Wymowa. Some words are spelled identically, but pronunciation might be different. Some words are spelled identically, but pronunciation might be different. Courage. Courage. Odwaga. It takes no courage to admit defeat. It takes no courage to admit defeat. Citizenship. Citizenship. Obywatelstwo. Acquiring American citizenship is a dream of many foreigners. Acquiring American citizenship is a dream of many foreigners. Bodybuilder. Bodybuilder. Kulturysta. Some people find bodybuilders gross, but not Lisa. Some people find bodybuilders gross, but not Lisa. Struggle. Struggle. Zmagać się z czymś. Michael is struggling to get his acting career going for years. Michael is struggling to get his acting career going for years. Ridicule. Ridicule. Wyśmiewać kogoś. Mary got chewed out for ridiculing the size of Gary's head. Mary got chewed out for ridiculing the size of Gary's head. Make fun of somebody. Make fun of somebody. Wyśmiewać kogoś. Mary got chewed out for making fun of the size of Gary's head. Mary got chewed out for making fun of the size of Gary's head. Be ashamed of something. Be ashamed of something. Wstydzić się czegoś. Gary isn't ashamed of the size of his head, but Mary's jokes finally got on his nerves. Gary isn't ashamed of the size of his head, but Mary's jokes finally got on his nerves. Gary isn't ashamed of the size of his head, but Mary's jokes finally got on his nerves. And that's the conclusion of today's podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for listening. I'll talk to you next time.